G'day guys, King of Underworld here, and welcome back to part 3 of What If Deku Was Hisoka. And before I want to get in, today's going to be a double upload, and I will make sure of that, not going to be a lazy day, because, well, instead of doing one part longer to be a special, and just calling it quits, I decided, you know what, you guys both love Hisoka and toge, so I'm putting out Hisoka first, as it needed a part first. Then I'll be putting out toge later today. So it probably will come out like an hour, 2 hours after, um, after Hisoka, because I need to let my voice rest. But other than that, let's get into it. So last part we had just gone through the heroes vs villains exercise, as Deku had unnerved everybody around him, as he swiftly defeated Bakugo at his own hands, and let's just say he left a awe-chilling smile and laughter in the hearts of all the 1A students. As the next few days roll around, that Aizawa had said to the class, "Well, now that we've gotten ourselves acquainted with with some of the hero lessons, I think it's time to do something special." As the class perks up at what it is. However, Deku, um, Deku doesn't really perk up too much about this, thinking, it's just gonna be more boring, isn't it? On excitement. Aizawa says, "Well, today it seems that we are going to be doing a rescue exercise at the Unforeseen Simulation Joint, or the USJ for short. And we're even going to meet a pro hero that specializes in the rescue field." Deku does perk up more, but he's still very uninterested. Then it says, "We're going to be taking all our hero costumes over there as well, so get all your stuff ready and we'll meet outside in half an hour." As everybody's just going around saying, "I wonder which hero we're going to meet." Well, the only thing Deku has to say in that regard is, "I hope they're strong." That'd make it more fun. As everybody says, we're not fighting them, we're rescuing. Sometimes rescue comes along with fights. As they headed onto the bus, everybody started, well, everybody started pouring in, either shuffling down in single file line. As once everybody got in, they were talking on the bus for a bit, and, well, Deku was just taking the time to rest, sleep in more, and just think about what kind of boring exercise is this gonna be. As we get to the USJ, then, well, the Hero 13 introduced herself, giving the whole spiel about how quirks are dangerous if they're not used in the right hands, and showing everybody her quirk is Black Hole. It's very dangerous, and if left in the hands of a villain, it could cause mass destruction. As Deku was very, danger, the spice of life. As somebody says, isn't it, variety's the spice of life? No, variety's just it's just the salt and pepper. Whereas I think the true spice of life is danger, the thrill of combat. He says, "Well, whatever you do, man." I'd say the only one that respects Deku's output, is, I guess, Todoroki and Kirishima. They're the only one that seem to understand his aspect of wanting to get stronger by fighting stronger opponents. Then, as soon as they started walking into the exam, as they got halfway down the stairs, the lights turn off as everybody starts panicking. "What's going on?" As then Deku says, "Some fun, that's what's about to go on." Then, well, then it seems that Deku, almost noticed and pointed out to the crowd, "I'd look down there if you want to see where the fun's about to begin." As all of a sudden a black portal started appearing. As everybody was shocked, "How do you know that was going to happen?" I could just, I have a sixth sense of sorts. I can feel when excitement's about to rattle the air and rattle me to my core. It's what I crave, so my body knows where to find it. And it looks like I just found it. As villains start pouring out by the dozens, almost to the point where there's about 200 villains. As then, towards the end, 3 people walk out. A man with with a black cloaked figure that was seen to be covered in a purple smoke. A man that had, hands all over his body, including his face. Looked very grisly and very unkempt. Then, a big behemoth-like creature that had a bird face and an exposed brain on its head. As Deku just looked at that and started shivering. People said, "You alright?" He's like, "I found it. I found excitement." As he rushes down, being barked at by Aizawa. "Don't go in there, it's too reckless." Shit, I have to go down there. Hero, 13, protect the kids. As, Aizawa starts dashing after Izuku, however, he can't catch up at all. Deku was just too fast for him. He was using bungee gum on his feet to accelerate himself forward as he jumps in front of a bunch of the villains and starts, making quick work of them. As he throws his playing cards attached to them with bungee gum, pulling them forward and knocking them out, kicking, punching, slamming to the ground. As he says, "This is what I've been craving. This is what I live for." As he starts laughing maniacally, sending a chill into the hearts of some of the weaker villains. As they're almost frightened, however, some of them are just saying, "He's just one person, we can kill him." As he says, "Who? Kill me? Well, let's see about that." As he starts dodging and weaving around some of the villains, punching them in their chest, as Ozal finally makes it to the crowd, as he sees some villains preparing to attack him from long range. He says, "Shit," then activates his quirk to stop their powers. It's like, "Oh man," as Deku just says, "Stop ruining my fun. They're about to hit you, Izuku. I couldn't let that happen, not as a teacher, not as a pro hero. See, the one thing you don't realize about my power is it's quite unique for how simple it is." As he pulls his hands together, as he slams them shut, as the 2 villains up behind him, bang their heads together and will get knocked out. I had them covered. I knew where they were. They were quite weak, so I didn't pay them too much mind. I might be a bit of a battle maniac, but I'm not a fool." As he whips out more cards, and then he puts them in his hand and goes, "Well, show me your hand." As he throws the cards forward, slashing at some of the villains and causing some of them to fall over in pain. As then he would he'd throw one card that would circle around all the villains, as he'd throw another 2 that would circle around both anti-clockwise and clockwise, as they all get bunched up together. And grabbing one of the tendrils of bungee gum, he hurls them over his head and slams them on the ground, knocking the group out. As I was just shocked at the sheer strength and magnitude of his power. He says, "This can't be normal. I thought he just had a quirk that allowed him to crank that rubber." As he says that's not all he's got, as he punches the ground, creating a small smoke screen as he's disappeared. As one of the villains says to Shigaraki, "What the hell? We need to take care of that kid. He's fitting down our numbers too quickly. We got all the others out in those different zones. We can't keep doing this." And he's like, "Are you ordering me what to do? This is my plan. We're here to kill All Might and that's it." He's like, "I know. It's just you're too idiotic to notice. As he pulls along his face, as it revealed to be Deku, then along his body as it reveals to his normal hero costume. How'd you like that? Texture surprise. As he uppercuts Shigaraki into the air and pulling him down using the bungee gun. And let's see, you. What did we do about you? You seem to be unresponsive. Well, too bad. As he looks at Kurogiri, now you're the one I need to beat at the moment. And says, you cannot harm me. You cannot find my body. Oh, I don't need to find your body. I just need to have a bit of a threat against you. I assume that this guy's the ringleader as he grabs Tomura by the hair and pulls him up and puts his hand towards his throat. So, I'd surrender now or he dies. It's like, you fucking idiot. Nomu, kill him! Ah, so now wants to move. As he jumps back, avoiding Nomu's strike. As Shigaraki gets back and starts laughing. You can't do anything against him. Nomu's too powerful for you. He's designed to kill All Might. What chance do you have? Oh, that is interesting. So I'm designed to kill All Might. No wonder I had so much pleasure looking at the potential behind it. Let's see. Let's have a bit of a dance, shall we? As, Izuka was ducking and weaving behind some of Nomu's punches, even sticking Nomu to the ground, using bungee gum, twisting and turning around each one of his blows like it was a performed dance. As Shigaraki's getting annoyed, it's like, Nomu, what are you doing? Fucking kill him! As he keeps trying to punch at Deku as he just keeps slinging around. As he grabbed the Nomu's face and put it and attached it to his fist with bungee gum. And as the Nomu tried to punch Deku, he took the bungee gum off the other hand, put it onto the other one, it slung back and uppercutted his own face. What do the kids nowadays say? Why are you hitting yourself? As he starts laughing maniacally, even unnerving Shigaraki. What the fuck is he? What is that power? As he says, this power. I'll explain it to you. My quirk is called bungee gum. It possesses both the qualities of rubber and gum. Don't lie to me, kid. That's no fucking gum. Or rubber. And he's like, oh yes, the physical strength. That comes from dedication and training, and crushing people like you. Well, as he was talking, Nomu gets up. Well, Nomu is getting up behind him, and using his other hand and punching, right as he's about to hit Deku. As he says, wrong choice. You never learn, do you, you mindless creature? As he pulls his arm, as Deku pulls his arm forward, Shigaraki, where he'd got grabbed by the head, was pulled toward, and Nomu was the one that Nomu punched Shigaraki in the face, sending him flying and skipping along the ground like a pebble along the water. As Kurogiri would shout out, Tomura! And says, it seems that you guys never learn. You think that punching is the only way to solve a solution. this mindless creature lost the moment it fought me. As well, Nomu kept on fighting as that was the order he was given. Deku just jumps up on his arm and gives a bow and says, "Well, thank you for all those who watched my performance, but it's now time to close the show." As he puts his hand up and jams it right into the Nomu's brain, coming out of its jaw and ripping it back up as it falls to the ground. As he stands over the defeated lifeless body, and it's like, "I bid you all adieu." As he throws a smoke bomb as he disappears. And everybody's just shocked, where the hell is he gone now? As then he pops up behind one of the villains and says, "Oh, are you wanting well, are you wanting a follow-up performance? I'll show you all my sleight of hand magic then." As he jumps back as the villain tries to punch him, and he goes, "See, this is why you all lose in the end. You all think all the same. You don't have enough potential. You don't work that quirk of yours." As he goes, "Now let's see. Look, I've rolled my sleeves up for you. Look at my hand, nothing in them. Now what does it spell when I fan my hands?" As it spells as a bunch of cards, suddenly flash into Deku's hands, as they were custom ones designed by him, that spelled death. As the villain, started screaming, "Get away from me, you maniac!" As he tries to fire a beam that was from his quirk, as well, Deku clapped his hands together after fanning the cards away, clapped his hands together, creating a long string of bungee gum, as he caught the beam of energy and launched it back right at the villain. Now, I have lost my excitement. One of you better satiate my hunger. As all of them just start giving up. And that was before even All Might had tried to, well, All Might had tried to get to the school. Well, to get to the USJ. As a lot of them were taken down by Izuku. About half a dozen, 2 dozen or so, were taken down by his hands almost instantly. As he took down both Toma and the Nomu. As well, then it seems that Kurogiri just couldn't stand idle anymore. He said, "Master, we must get you away from here now." It's like, that fucking kid. Ugh, they're wrenching my plans. I must kill him. Kill him. Kill him. And it's like, now's not the time, Master. He'll be dead in no due time. As Deku saw the two as he threw a card down in front of Shigaraki, as it was a picture of, him as the Joker with his name on it, Hisoka. "So, I'll take this card in remembrance for this day. Just wait until you see me again. I'll be laughing over your damn corpse." Then Deku gives him a bow. "You fucking mad magician." As they walk away, as the rest of the villains, as Deku just was bored and said, I do not have the time nor the effort to, take you all down. So I'll just make you lose your will to fight." As he shoots out an intense wave of bloodlust, as a lot of the villains just fainted or instantly conceded right there and then, as he throws some of his cards that circle around the villains and tie them all up. As he looks at Aizawa, who was even knocked in his own ass after feeling that intense bloodlust. What are you?" "Oh, me? I'm just a guy who fights for fun and fights for the thrill of it. Anyway, Azawa, let's get you on your feet. We have a lot more people to rescue. Azawa was actually frightened by Deku at this point because he had felt nothing like it. No matter what kind of villain he has faced in his path, in his past, or even then, the Nomu didn't scare him nearly as much as Deku just did, as that smile just had a sinister aura behind it. Okay. From what I heard and what I gathered when I was disguised as one of their own, it seems that there's a bunch of students scattered throughout the zones. They didn't know their quirks, so I'll take the shipwreck zone, and you take the building. Alright then. As they both scatter out as Deku 3 is playing cards against the roof as he starts swinging towards the shipwreck as he lands down with a loud crash as, Sue and Mineta are ready to attack. And he says it's not, well, it's just me, it's just me. Now well, now maybe calm down a bit. I'm here to rescue you after all. That's not how you say thanks, is it? Oh, it's just you, Deku. And yes, it's just me. I managed to capture and finish off all the villains at the center of the arena. Now let's see, what can we do? Mineta? Yes? You said your quirk was to make sticky balls, right? Yeah. Alright, we'll use that to our advantage then. He says, what are you gonna do? Well, my bungee gum has an extendable range, you see. And I'm able to make it as sticky or as loose as I want it to. So, get a bunch of the sticky balls on my bungee gum threads, throw it into the water and catch the villains. Alright then. As, well, Deku just creates 5 long tendrils of bungee gum from each of his hands as he fixes along each of them about 10 or so balls as Mineta's head is just bleeding. As he's like, alright, that's the limit, as he says. Alright, good, as he jumps up into the ground, extending the bungee gum's range from his fingers, spreading it all around and twisting down and up as he ensnares most of the villains together and then pulls his hands forward as the water was helping him drag the villains together. As he dragged the villains together, they all got clumped up into one. And then Sue took down the rest of the well rest rest of the remaining villains. As then Izuku drags the villains and sticks them to the side of the boat. It says, "Well, that should do the rest. Now let's get out of here. Let's get to the back." Aizawa and I have both handled the villains out front, like I've said. So everybody else that's been scattered throughout the whole facility needs to be grouped back together. As by the time everybody gets hand gets let's say get under control of their situations, and then either get saved by Aizawa or Deku. All By the time that happens, all the authorities have arrived thanks to Ida going out and telling them it was a villain attack, and even All Might arriving. Then he was surprised to see the battle was already won. It was done. Nothing. Well, there was no incidents, no other than because 13 never got hurt, and she was staying back and protecting the kids. Well, some of them that didn't get warped away. She was one that's created an opening, but as Kurogiri was too distracted with Tomura being beaten, to really, um, to really get hurt. once all the police and authorities have arrived, as well as pro heroes to snuff out any other villains that were still around that managed to slip through the cracks of both Deku's and Hisoka's, well, not Deku's and Aizawa's fingers, which none escaped from Deku's line of sight, but a few escaped from Aizawa. As they were hunting them down and capturing them swiftly, the authorities arrive and says, Aizawa, good job. You managed to keep this from, you managed to keep everybody from getting hurt. As he just shook his head and says, I wasn't the one that did any of this. I only captured some of the villains. I'd say maybe about a dozen, 2 dozen of them. But there's over 100 villains here. Yeah, about that one. It was, well, Deku here that did this. Well, the police were just shocked as saying, you're saying one of the students did all of this. Yeah, as he walks up to the side a bit and then just says, well, at the start of the incident, he seemed to know that, well, towards the start of the incident, something weird happened. Weird? What do you mean? Well, first the lights turned off, but then it seems that Deku just knew that it was going to happen. What do you mean, knew it was going to happen? He attributed it to being, he's very excited by thrills and battles. So when he senses danger approaching, he knows it's more of a thrill for him. So he just knew when it was going to happen. However, it's not too odd to think that he just assumed that something bad was going to happen because of the lights. So I don't think he was working with them. But that was not the scariest part. The scariest part is the way he fights. The way he fights, he takes pleasure from fighting the villains. As soon as the villains started appearing in the middle of the USJ, he just stood there laughing as he dashed over to them and started beating them down, taking with a smile on his face. Not even one to show people that he was alright. It was just a smile out of sheer enjoyment. But he killed that thing. What thing? As he points to the body of the Nomu that was now being covered up, as he said, that thing. Wait, so he killed a person? No, that wasn't a person, that was a thing. It was lifeless. It only responded to orders and that was it. It's, as far as we knew, it was dead. And he took it on by himself. That thing had immense strength. Yet, he took it down by himself. I'm sure if I would have fought against it, I would have lost. As the officer is just, okay, I see. But one last statement I must put in there. He was terrifying. The creature? No, Deku. So that boy was terrifying to you. He had an aura unlike anything I've felt before. Sort of sinister and bone-chilling. Just the aura of, well, sort of, not, how would I describe it? Somebody who takes pleasure in bringing pain and anguish. He always goes on about how he's looking for a thrill of a fight. So, he's a sadist. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. Alright then, it'll be noted, and also don't forget, well, just a bit of advice. Keep an eye on him. We don't know if that intense aura can actually be leading to him turning into a villain. As then, as they got back from school, people were just shocked to see that Deku, after Aizawa saying that he was the one that cleaned up most of the villains at the middle of the USJ, he was just walked on like nothing, like it was an average day. And people just said, "How are you not traumatized by what happened?" How could I be traumatized by a fun time? A fun time? We nearly could have fucking died in there. As he says, "See, you don't look at the bigger picture. I see this as a thrill and entertainment. You see this as a life or death situation. Both outlooks are neither right nor wrong, as I just take my thrill of it. I like fighting. I like potential. I like strength, and I like crushing strength. I like standing atop those who all think that they're better than society. All think that they're better than everybody else. If they don't back up those words, well, they have no right to call themselves strong. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to mediate the difference. I am a champion of nor of the strong nor of the weak. I am those who fight for fighting's sake. I am those who crush potential. I am, I am the bringer of all things unholy. I do the dirty work in all the sacred, in the shadows of anything sacred. I am the unnecessary evil. So, I take pleasure in pain. I take pleasure in fighting. That's who I am. That's who I will be. There's nothing that can change this for me, and nothing that will ever change this. And if you're going to ask me, as so many people have in the past, I am not a hero, but I'm not also a villain. I just bring balance. As he walks away, some people just dumbfounded at what he said. His actions were totally insane. Fighting for fighting's sake. You can understand, like a martial arts master wanting to teach and pass on the students the way of the fist. However, that wasn't like it at all. It wasn't a passion. It was a sheer love and twisted perception of strength. They couldn't believe what he said. As Alon just asked Nezu if he can keep an eye on Deku. Even Aizawa came up and asked him before he left. There's one question I have to ask you. Why are you not a villain if you fight solely for pleasure? Why don't you just fight, why aren't you on the side of chaos? That's what I want to know. As it says, chaos does have its perks. Order must fight against the chaos. And the chaos picks and chooses their battles, whereas the order doesn't. So, I take the fine line between both. I am chaotic to bring a need for order, but I am the order that brings an end to the chaos. I am a balance of both. I am neither good nor bad, hero nor villain. As I say to them, I just fight for my sake and my sake only. Whether that helps people, well, that's up to them to decide. I just find that being on the hero side happens to have more benefits. So, does that answer your question, sir? As he just glances and smiles and starts chuckling as he walks away, as I was just shocked and almost speechless at that thing. Well, I had to make sure he doesn't fall out of line, otherwise he'll be, one of the greatest threats they've seen. As, it comes to as Azawa just tells everybody, as they're all leaving, the next 2 weeks have been cancelled for classes because of this event, that happened. So please all just, take the time to train and think about what happened. As well, we will decide what happens in the after the, after the 2 weeks have passed. Everybody just goes home and just thinks about what happened. Ozawa that night couldn't sleep. He couldn't. He was pondering over what Izuku had said and that intense aura he felt. Is he right about what he says? Is he sane? That kid. That's the only thing that scares me about him. There's no air of a lie to what he says. There's nothing to him. It seems that all his intentions are hidden. I can't tell what he's saying behind those devilish eyes of his. Behind that, well, feigned grin he always gives. I cannot tell. As this is where I'm going to leave off, What If Deku Was Hisoka Part 3. And people who get to the end of this, I would say thank you for getting me up to 900 because, well, it's what I should do. It's what I do. I love doing what I do, and hell, if I ever get up to 1,000, I will just say I'm gonna monetize my shit because even though it's been annoying that I can put ads in it, I'm doing it only for the fact that when I make money off this, I can buy better equipment so you guys can listen to me better because right now I'm using a shitty I'm using my headphones that come with a phone, and it does the job, but it doesn't do it well. So any money that can go towards getting a better quality setup, a decent quality mic, that would be what I'm hoping to do, and it's basically being supported helps me support you guys. So yeah, um, yeah, like and subscribe if you want to see more. Comment down below what you thought of the episode. Yeah. Other than that, have a good day, guys, and I've been the King of Underworld. Peace out.